Kaga, Hiru, Soru, and the two new carriers, the Shokuku and the Suikoku. The plan was simple: destroy the Pacific Fleet. The raid lasted for a little over 2 gruesome hours. Yes, you have a front row seat in the Pacific Theater as the story of the bombing of Pearl Harbor unfolds right in front of you. When the first bombs began to fall, pilots all over the island jumped into action. At Wheeler Field, Lieutenant Philip Rasmussen woke to the sound of bombs, jumping out of bed, strapping on a .45 caliber pistol over his purple pajamas, and ran to a working Curtiss P-36 Hawk. He was joined by 4 more P-36 pilots, Lou Sanders, Harry Brown, Gordon Sterling, and Malcolm Mike Moore. They took off to engage the attacking Japanese and managed to shoot down a few of their Zeros, Vals, and Kates. The number of enemy aircraft were incredibly overwhelming. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the island, Kenneth Taylor and George Welsh were out returning from an all-night dinner, dance, and poker party. These brave pilots, still in their formal dress clothes, raced to a couple of P-40 Warhawks. They got unfueled and armed and took off. They quickly found themselves in the middle of a real battle. These two pilots caught up with the Japanese close to Pearl Harbor and Hickam Field and engaged the Zeros, Vals, and Kates with rounds from their .30 caliber machine guns. However, they quickly ran out of ammunition. Luckily, they were able to land at Wheeler Field, which is near the center of the island. They refueled and reloaded with .30 and .50 caliber ammo and took off once again to fight the Japanese. The two pilots were credited with downing a total of 6 Japanese aircraft before their own planes were disabled. Both pilots received a Distinguished Service Cross for their actions that infamous day. A total of 502 U.S. planes were on the ground at the beginning of the attack. Sadly, 188 were totally destroyed, 159 damaged, and 155 aircraft lay on the ground in various stages of disrepair. The first wave of 189 Japanese Zeros, Vals, and Kates hammered Hawaii for almost an hour. Then came the second wave of an additional 171 aircraft to continue the strafing, bombing, and dropping of torpedoes for yet another 70 minutes. Yes, that's a total of 360 enemy warplanes. As the attack proceeded at Pearl Harbor and Hickam Field, the devastation was just horrifying. On the eastern edge of Ford Island, in the center of the harbor, 9 battleships lay at the California, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Tennessee, Maryland, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Utah, and Arizona. Luckily at the time, our 3 Pacific aircraft carriers were out at sea. First, the Japanese hit with Kate torpedo bombers. The initial wave of Kates hit 5 of our battleships: the Oklahoma, California, Nevada, West Virginia, and the Utah. These Kates were specially equipped with shallow-running torpedoes specifically designed for the attack on Pearl Harbor. You see, the shallow waters at Pearl Harbor would not allow the normal deep-running torpedoes, which leaves no question that this was a well-thought-out plan and not a surprise attack. Then came the Val dive bombers, armed with 1,700 pounds of armor-busting projectiles, originally made for 16-inch battleship guns, but were converted to aerial bombs. These planes dived down onto the Nevada and the Arizona. Anti-aircraft fire veered the Vals away from the Nevada on the first wave. But unfortunately, the Arizona was not that lucky. A bomb stabbed the Arizona through her forward magazines and exploded, torching off more than 1 million pounds of gunpowder. Sailors on the Nevada watched in horror as the Arizona jumped 20 feet in the air and broke in two, forever entrapping 1,178 American servicemen in an underwater tomb. The ship sank in less than 3 minutes, and still today, she remains at the bottom of the harbor in a watery grave, crying black tears as a reminder to all of those who lost their lives that infamous day. At Marine Corps Air Station Ewa, Private First Class Melvin Thomas was on guard duty when 9 Zeros attacked the base. He stepped out of his guard shack, drew his .45 caliber pistol, and began firing on the enemy planes. A Japanese pilot, Yoshi Oshiga, saw Thompson firing back at them. And years later, he remembered Thompson's tenacity and fighting spirit, describing the lone Marine as the bravest American I've ever seen. Right in front of you is our Speckled Kate torpedo bomber. All over the island, soldiers were bringing weapons to bear in the fight, anything they could get working. Their 45 caliber pistol and some cases Springfield rifles, and also 30 and 50 caliber belt-fed machine guns into action, bringing down numerous Japanese Zeros, Vals, and Kates. There goes our American P-36 Hawk chasing after the Zero. Meanwhile, at Bellows Airfield on the northeastern coast of the island, more U.S. Army pilots were racing to their P-40s. Unfortunately, Japanese Zeros appeared at the same time and started strafing runs. One P-40 pilot was killed as he stepped in the cockpit. 2 other P-40 pilots were shot down as they just got off the ground. The flight of 12 B-17s coming from the mainland finally arrived and were immediately attacked by the Zeros. Unfortunately, in all the confusion, the B-17s were shot at by friend and foe. The flight crews landed wherever they could,